Chair, I am representing Ms. Harada, Mr. Kitamura, Ms. Yokohama, and Mr. Anderson in their official capacities as employees of the state of Hawaii.
I did discuss it with my attorney regarding the multiple client representation. He assured me that...
Madam Chair, I would object and ask my witness not to share with this committee what goes on in the privacy of an attorney-client meeting as protected under the attorney-client privilege.
Okay.
And the fact that I had another client present does not waive the attorney-client privilege. They are joint clients of mine.
Okay. Ms. Harada, would you waive your attorney-client privilege at this point in time as far as questions about your attorneys representing you?
I'm going to advise my client not to.
Okay. But this is just for the purposes of finding out whether or not your best interest is being protected.
Senator, I have nothing to hide. All I want to do is to testify as to this particular solicitation and what happened.
Thank you. So are you willing to waive that?
Waive what?
Waive your attorney-client privilege for the purposes of finding out as far as whether or not you have been given your counsel of your choosing and whether or not ethically your attorney has in fact protected your interests.
Well, Madam Chair, that's not what she said. She said she was here to...
I understand what she said.
She
I'm
didn't say
asking.
that she was willing
I'm
to
asking her
waive
so I
her
can ask.
attorney-client privilege.
Well, I'm asking her that question, Mr. Firm.
And I would advise my client not to waive the attorney-client privilege. Because then you are allowing this committee to intervene and investigate what you and I have discussed in the privacy of our attorney-client relationship.
Ms. Harada, I have no intention of asking you what you've discussed. I'm only interested in Mr. Firm's representation of multiple clients.
Yes, I will waive my
Thank you.
privilege.
Why was it that you had a meeting with both Mr. Kitamura and Ms. Harada at the same time?
They are both my clients.
Yes, but they could have conflicting interests. Is that not correct?
We determined that there was none. I met with them and talked with them.
Together.
Yes.
So meeting with them together, you decided that there were no conflict of interest.
That's right.
Meeting with them together, what about the confidentiality that each one is entitled to?
They are, as joint clients of mine, there's no waiver of attorney-client privilege.
But if they were at a meeting together and we're addressing Ms. Harada on a subject, she's privy to what the conversations that occurred with Mr. Kitamura and vice versa, but yet they each have different interests ultimately, which is their own interest. And so are they sworn to protect each other when asking questions about what occurred in terms of
No, Senator.
This is highly unusual.
Yeah, it seems like that the confidentiality of the whole meeting is kind of broached when you have people with
They are
different
both
interests.
my clients. Their confidentiality is not broached. They are both clients of mine. Anything that goes on in our meetings is confidential.
You were informed of the potential conflicts and the potential of the multiple representation and the risk that it might pose to them,
Well,
and they agreed to it.
we saw no potential conflicts. And we discussed the facts, and again,
But-
this delves into the attorney-client privilege, so I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
But it's really not what you saw, but what your clients see. Ms. Harada, would you have preferred to have your own attorney, separate attorney from everyone else?
Yes.
Are you an attorney by?
I have a legal background.
Okay, so you have a legal background. In your legal background, should you be given a separate attorney, even though you folks are in this all D-bed and all on the same issue? Do you think that the different individuals that are being subpoenaed may have different interests to protect?
Well, Madam Chair, that covers about 20 people now.
Okay, then let me rephrase my question to say, do you think that you as an individual may have different interests from others that being represented that should have your own separate attorney?
Well, it's the same question. You know, there are 20 different people that have been subpoenaed in this, and there are several different lawyers now that are involved.
But I'm
in
asking her
representing
if she
different
feels
groups.
she should have her own separate attorney. It's a simple question.
When I first had contact with Mr. Firm, I indicated to him that I was concerned.
Again, I'm going to instruct you not to answer a question that delves into the attorney-client privilege.
She's already waived that,
You
Mr.
have
Firm.
not waived it as to entirely, and her discussions with
Okay.
me are protected by the
Okay.
attorney-client privilege.
Your warning has been duly noted. Ms. Harada, you're
So I'm
welcome
going to
to
advise you
continue.
not to answer questions about yours and my communications.
Would you like to continue?
You know, your answer concerning whether or not
Mr.
Mr.
Trump.
Kitamura and, you know, she's entitled to a counsel by statute and by rules of this committee.
I think she knows that, and she has already said
Well,
she has a
You know,
legal
that's
background.
for
so-
me to help her, so that this proceeding is fair to her.
Mr. Firm, I also don't think that if you're looking after your best interest of a client, that you would have a meeting with other clients in the same meeting. So I think you should be consistent as to wanting to protect the best interest of your client. And the only reason we ask these questions is I just think that these clients, and I don't know what they have to say, but these clients are entitled to their own attorneys, that where there's a China wall in the event that they have things to say that may be in conflict with the other members that you are so representing. You are satisfied that your interests and your representation by attorney that represents more than one individual is being looked after.
Senators, may I ask if we can take a recess so that I can have a discussion with my counsel?
Okay.
My name is Eileen Harada. I'm the Departmental Contract Specialist for DBED.
And you've been there for
10 years.
10 years. You did have an attorney when you first appeared to us, and so you have chosen not to have an attorney for the record?
Yes, I am unrepresented at this time. I believe you have received my statement or my letter to the Attorney General's office. I did not feel that counsel had my best interest at the last hearing.
Okay. Exhibit 94, members, is a copy of that. Before we actually get into the questions on the RFP, these are questions that were handed to me on the first day of the day you came to testify, and those were questions by Mr. Ted Liu. Have you seen those questions before? I asked the same questions to Mr. Kitamura and to Ms. Dawn Okuhama. But-
Yes, these questions were emailed to me
Who
by
e-
the Attorney General.
A particular Attorney General?
Dennis Firm,
Who was your attorney
my
at the time?
former attorney.
So, let me get this straight. So your attorney that's looking after your bench interests sent you these questions that were written by Mr. Liu.
Yes,
Did he do anything with you with these questions, or he just sent it to you?
he just emailed it to me.
Were you the only one that he emailed it to?
I believe Mr. Kitamura also received it.
Did you feel that it was appropriate that you would receive this?
Those questions actually set off my suspicions that counsel did not necessarily have my best interest.
And also, at the time when you first testified, you said that you didn't believe all of your documents were delivered to us. Is that still your determination?
Based on the volume that we delivered versus what the committee received, we did submit a lot more